Okay. All right. First of all, what is the area of the parallelogram? Okay, Lindsay? All right. Now, it's really kind of hard to see where the parallelogram is on my copy, so I'll kind of darken it in here so you guys can see it. What'd I say?
So darkening, that's darkening.
Well, okay, I guess. Lightening it. I was lightening it in. Okay, so now I saw this was probably the 4th or 5th most missed question on the test. I couldn't believe how many people missed it. As I was watching on the screen, you know, Mr. Z and I kept looking at each other. We're like, man, I can't believe there's some people missing this. And it's, you know, it's just crazy stuff. Using the wrong formula or just miscounting. It was crazy stuff. This is a very silly mistakes, okay? So let's try to clear it up, okay? So, what shape is this, by the way? Haley?
Oh,
I thought your hand was up. Okay, my bad.
Sorry.
Kate? Parallelogram. Okay? So, first of all, I know it's a parallelogram. What is the area formula for a parallelogram, Sydney? Area equals base times height. You must have that. If you do not have that part right there, mark it wrong right now. Write it on your paper if you did not have it. Okay? Area equals the base times the height. Now, when we're talking about bases and heights, it does not matter what the shape is. Whether it is a parallelogram, whether it is a triangle, whether it is a trapezoid. What does the base and the height always meet at? Yes? At a right angle, a 90-degree angle. Okay? Another way you could say it is you could say the base and the height are always perpendicular with each other. Perpendicular means meeting at 90 degrees. Okay? So, can I just count the squares at the slant here? Can I count how many it goes that way on the slant? No, I have to figure out exactly from the very top of this thing, straight down at a 90-degree angle. How tall is it? What is the height of it? So, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. I'll show you all the ways. Could I draw a straight line going straight down to there, guys? Could I draw a straight line going down to there? Okay, I could do it there and there also. Could I do it on the outside? Absolutely. It doesn't matter how you do it. I could do it here. It doesn't matter. It's all about just figuring out where the very top of that parallelogram, the very top of it, if I were to come straight down at a 90-degree angle, where would it hit the base? That's the idea. Okay? So first of all, let's figure out the base. I'll do the base in blue. So the base will be in blue. We just got to count. The base goes from right there to right there. Now, some of the mistakes I saw, first of all, I saw this one a lot. People were counting like this right here. Right? Is that part of the base? No, that's just the dotted lines that make up, it's just showing where it would be if it extended out that far. The base goes from right there to right there. So let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's my base?
5.
5 what?
5 units squared.
5 units, not squared, area squared. That's just a distance. That's 5 units long, one dimension. Okay? Now let's figure out the height, which I will do in green. Okay, and it doesn't matter which one of these you count. Let's just do it from right there straight down to there. How many are we talking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know that my height is 6 units. Okay, so now I know my base and my height, and this is where I saw the mistakes. I saw people thinking this was 6. I saw some crazy stuff. Rather than count it, the other way you could have done is you could have said, okay, that one starts at 1 on the x-axis and goes to 6. How many would be in between? 5. Right, guys? So that's another way you could have done it without counting. All right? So now I'm ready to plug into my formula. I know that the base is 5, the height is 6, 5 times 6 is 30. If you didn't have 30, obviously mark it wrong. Then the last important part that you got to have, or it is wrong, is what? Units squared. Now, if you went ahead, what up? Just put your hand up. Maybe I'll answer it. If you just did feet squared or inches squared or meters squared, something like that, that's fine. You can count that right. What was your question?
Well, I did the wrong formula. I ended up with 30 units squared. I did the wrong formula. It's so wrong. Oh, is that the right formula?
Yeah, that's wrong. Wrong formula. So you need to be, guys, again, if you missed this right now, you should be writing what I have here. Okay? Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It is wrong if you did not write the formula. Okay.
I just don't.
Are you listening? If you got it wrong, you need to be writing on there there exactly what you missed. What did you forget? Okay, circle it. Write yourself a note. Write yourself a note. Say, I forgot my units. That's -1. I missed it. Okay? Does everybody understand this?
Yeah.
Did you make the corrections? Okay. It's this formative is a study guide, right? That's what it is. Some of you do not use it that way for whatever reason. Those of you that have learned to use it like that have found out that the summative and formatives are very similar, and they improve their grade from formative to summative every time. Some of you just haven't figured that out yet. Okay, so right there, these are the 3 aspects that I would need to see. Formula, answer, and then units squared, or whatever the units are squared.
You said each one of those were.
It is on the summative. On the formative, it's worth 1. On the summative, this will be worth 3 points. So, if you let's say you forgot the formula, you didn't have the formula on there. This is on the summative now. On Wednesday, when I grade your summatives, if you forgot the formula, you would get 2 out of 3 points, which is a 67% on that question. Okay? Therefore, you got a D on that question by missing 1 point, writing the formula. Okay? Make yourself a note, write formulas. Okay? Here we go. New tiles are being laid in the school hallway. The tiles measure 1 foot by 1 foot. Now, this is straight off the OAA, guys. This is straight off the OAA from a few years ago. Okay? Whenever you see 1 by 1 squares, doesn't matter if they're tiles, whatever, okay? Pieces of carpet, it doesn't matter. And whenever you see that 1 by 1, what are we always talking about? Area. That's what an area is. Right? I could find the area by this room right now by counting the number of 1 by 1 squares. That would be the area of this floor. Okay? So, I know that the hallway is 75 feet long by 9 feet wide. What's the area formula? Yes?
Area equals base times height.
Okay, so right away, if you don't have the formula, count it wrong. Count it wrong. Write yourself a note on there. I forgot my formula. Don't look at it as an annoyance, guys. I get people that are saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's making us write the formula. I'm giving you a free point on these questions. I'm giving a free point just for simply writing a formula that you used anyway. Think about it. Make sure you're doing it. What's up?
Does it, but I'm going to take it back because it hole punched through the... Yeah, it's 5.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm ready to plug in. 75 times 9 is going to be, somebody help me?
675.
675. And then it's going to be feet squared. Now I will accept any of these answers. Obviously you need the formula, you need the answer. If you didn't have feet squared, you must have tiles then. You could have written tiles. That's what the question technically is asking for, the number of tiles, not for the area, technically. But I will accept either one of those. Okay? Let's go on to number 3. Juby, pay attention, please. Here we're finding the area of this triangular sign. We got to first of all write the formula for a triangle. Does anybody know what that is? Chris? Area equals half of the height, or the base, doesn't matter, times the height. Okay? Now I just plug in what I know. You can't really see it on my copy, but this comes straight down at a what?
Dotted line.
A right angle. Okay, so that means my base is 24 and my base is 30. My height is 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's 24 times 30, which is going to give me, help me, Bella?
Wow.
360 inches squared. So again, the 3 parts that I would need to see, formula is 1. If you didn't have the formula, count it wrong. The second part, 360. If you didn't have 360, count it wrong. The third part I would need to see, inches squared. If you did not have that, count it wrong. Okay? All good, guys? Okay. This question right here, guys. Probably the third most missed question. A lot of you missed this question. Now, what do I call every test? A reading test. Okay, every test you ever take in your life is reading. Okay, I've said this many times before, but the one subject that you will use no matter what your profession is or what you do in life is reading, right? You might not necessarily use one thing from social studies or science or math. Okay? But you will always use from reading. It says, consider the trapezoid that is shown. What is the area of the triangle inside the trapezoid? So we just want to know what the area of this triangle is right here. Some of you missed this. Some of you did the trapezoid. You did not read it carefully. Okay? So, I want everybody to please draw this if you didn't. I want everybody to draw a rectangle and a triangle. Okay? Go ahead and draw that like I got it here.
What?
Draw the rectangle and the triangle like I have here. Okay? Whenever you're decomposing, remember decomposing means to take a shape, whatever that shape is, and break it into smaller shapes. Okay? Break it into smaller shapes. In this case, rectangles and triangles. That's what you always want to break it into if you can. Okay? That's the easiest way to go about doing something. Okay? So I took this and I broke it into a rectangle and a triangle. Now I know this rectangle's got all 90-degree angles, right? Right?
Yeah.
And I know this is a right triangle, right? Now let's put on some dimensions. I got to figure out what my base and my height is of this rectangle, right? Okay? So I look here and I say, okay, what is this? Is this going to change from this?
Oh.
Let me highlight that and show you what I mean. So like this right here, do you agree that that's the same distance as that?
Yes.
Okay? So this is going to be 12 centimeters. Now if it's green, it's 12 there. What is this right here?
12 centimeters.
So then what's the height of the triangle?
12 centimeters.
It's also 12. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
So pretty easy to understand there, I think. 12 centimeters. What are you doing? This isn't the time to be doing that. Just stop doing that now. Okay? Now, let's figure out the next part of this. Okay, I got to figure out what this base and this height, or the bases are of this. That makes sense.
The base is.
Bases are. Okay, so I got to figure out what's in yellow. Now, this is the hardest thing about it. It's figuring out the yellow is the hardest thing about this, okay? A lot of you look up and you say, oh, 25. Is that the yellow?
No.
No, the 25 is representing, show you exactly what it's representing. It's representing the yellow and the what color? Blue combined together. Make sense, guys? It's showing them combined. Okay, so my yellow is not 25. Now, if this right here is yellow, what's this right here?
15. And yellow.
This is yellow, right?
Yeah.
So if the top is 18, then what's the base?
Bottom is 18.
You guys all see how I did that?
Yes.
So then I know this is 18. So am I ready to go ahead and find the area of this rectangle?
No. Wait, yes.
Of the rectangle?
Yes.
Yeah, I know the base and the height. So I know it's 12 times 18. Somebody help me with that?
116.
No way.
No.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
I got this.
216.
Thank you. That's better. 216 centimeters squared. All right? 216 centimeters squared. Are you guys writing this? I said to write this at the beginning, so you should be. You should be writing what I'm writing. That's the whole point of this. Okay? You should be writing this unless you did this. So what I did is I know that the area of this rectangle part is just 216 centimeters squared. All right? So now, I know that, remember, green and blue put together, yellow and blue put together equal 25, right?
Yes.
So if I know this is 18 from here to here, how many centimeters are left? JC?
7.
7 centimeters. Now am I ready to go ahead and find the area of the triangle now?
Yes.
1/2 times base times height. 1/2 times 12 times 7. And that's going to give me 42 centimeters squared. Now let's go back up to the question. I know I kind of jumped around because the question's only asking for the triangle, right? So this right here is what my expectation would be for number, whatever number this is. 4. Okay, this is number 4 right here. Everybody see that? It's supposed to be a 4. Number 4. Okay? Did everybody see how I decomposed it into a rectangle and a triangle? Lindsay, you got that? Good. Okay? Now, number 5 says, what is the area of the rectangle? Well, guess what? I kind of already did it within the other one, but doesn't matter. There it is. Just move it down here. Okay, there it is. That's the area of the rectangle. Cool, guys? Everybody see how I'm doing this? Now, I got to find the area of the whole trapezoid. Now, there's two ways to do it. Okay? The first way, and probably the way a lot of you did, is you said, well, if I know the area of the rectangle, and I know the area of the triangle, can't I just add them together to find the whole area?
Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do 216 plus 42, and I'm going to get 250
50,
centimeters squared. So if you did it this method, that's fine. You must have the answer and the units. Now, how many of you used the formula and just found the area of the trapezoid? That's a good way to do it. I would have encouraged you to do both ways. Just to check. Why not just check and make sure? Double check yourself. So first of all, the trapezoid formula. It's long, remember. 1/2 the height times the sum of the bases. You must know that formula. If you do not know that formula, if you couldn't tell me that formula right now, you got work to do. Because, again, it's not a learning thing, Anthony. It's a memorizing thing, truly. I don't like using the word memorizing in school, but this is truly memorizing. Okay? So, I'm ready to plug in what I know. 1/2. What was the height of that thing? 7? 12. It's 1/2 times 12. And then my bases were 18 plus 25, right? Remember, my bases are always the two parallel sides, and my height is always the distance between those two bases. Okay? So I do that, and I end up getting 258 centimeters squared. So if you did it this way, you must have had the formula, you must have had the answer, you must have had the units. If you added them, all you had to have is the answer and units. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So that one's, it's wrong if you didn't do it. Haley, I hope you're writing this.
I am.
Okay.
Wait, so for the one on the left, you didn't even have to show that you added the two?
You didn't have to. I mean, you should have, but I get what you're doing if you did that. Okay. Number 7, solving equations. What is the first step to solving equations, Bella? You're going to draw a line separating the left and the right. Okay? Now, the next step, which is kind of optional, but I like for you guys to do it. I would like everybody to do that now, please. Just write that. PEMDAS with an arrow going backwards. Okay? The reason we draw that arrow going backwards is because, remember, we're not following PEMDAS. We're following PEMDAS backwards, which means we're going to do any addition or subtraction first. It's the opposite of when we evaluate. Okay? So, what would the question be that I would ask at this point right now? What question would I ask, Amber? Is there any addition or subtraction happening to the variable? Is there?
Yes.
Yes. 9 is being added to A. So how can I undo adding A, Chris?
Subtraction.
I'm going to subtract. I'm sorry. 9 being taken from A. I don't know what I said. Subtract 9 from both sides. Remember, what you do to one side, you must do to the other side, right? What am I left with on the left side of my equal sign now? Kate? Huh?
Wait, no.
Left side.
0. A.
A.
Oh.
And then over here would be 20. And what's the last step, and maybe the most important step you can take? Bella?
Add 20 for A and take the answer.
Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful. You take that thing, you plug it back in for A, and you say, I'm going to make sure that 20 plus 9 is indeed 29, is it?
Yes.
If you didn't have this work, it's wrong.
Wait, was it 29?
It was
Oh.
0.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to draw my line here. Now I draw my line. Now I'm going to ask that question. Kirshner, what's the first question we ask?
Is there any adding or subtracting happening to the variable?
Is there any?
Yes.
Yes, 12 is being taken from M. So we need to undo taking 12. Haley, please. It doesn't seem like it. You're looking down, and I feel like you should be looking up
I'm
here.
looking at the problem.
Okay. I'm taking 12 from M, right? How can I undo taking away 12, Ratubi? Okay,
Oh.
come up here and say it.
Add.
Yes, right there. I want you right there. Now, if I'm taking 12 away from M, how can I undo that? How can I undo 12 being taken from it?
Add.
That's the inverse. Remember, our inverse operations, subtraction and addition are inverses of each other. Stop. And multiplication and division are inverses of each other. Okay? So I need to add 12 to both sides. I need to show this step. If you didn't, it's wrong. What am I left with on the right side then? Harkin? And then over here I do the math. Easy. What's the last step, guys? Plug it back in to make sure that 68 minus 12 does give us 56, and it does. You must have that work. If you're missing any of these, you should be writing this. Okay? All right, this page was out of 8. Put what you got right out of 8, please.
You already marked what I got wrong in my paper.
Yep. Well, some of them, not all of them.
Yeah, you marked.
No, it's not. I didn't mark them all. If you missed like 1 or 2 and I wanted to make sure you didn't test out, okay, well, just make sure you're grading them right. Like actually grading them. Okay, what's the first question I'm going to ask on this one, Anthony? Remember, is there any addition or subtraction? That's the first one. We always ask that first. Is there any addition or subtraction happening to the variable? Is there? No. And then we go to M and D. Is there any multiplication or division happening? Amelia, is there any? Huh? Yes. M is being divided by 2. So how do I undo dividing by 2, Dominic?
You have to multiply that.
Multiply by 2, absolutely, to both sides. What am I left with on the left side? M. And what do I got over here? 44. And what's the last step? Plug it in. Take it and shove it in for M. Make sure that 44 divided by 2 is indeed 22. Okay, here, I draw a line. What's the first question I would ask here? Sydney? What's the question? Happening to the variable. Is there any addition or subtraction happening to the variable? Lindsay, is there? No. Okay, so we go to the next question. Remember, there's no A or S. Okay, so we go on to M and D. Is there any multiplication or division, Kathleen, happening to the variable? Yes. M is being multiplied by 19. So how do I undo that then? Jake? So I need to divide by 19. We show that as a fraction. I find that M equals 3. And then, of course, the last step is to plug it in. Make sure 19 times 3 does equal 57. Okay? All right, number 11. I want everybody to write this off to the left, please. I'm going to put the 4 inequality symbols. Make sure you keep a little space in between the two. I grouped them. I got less than and greater than right there. I got less than or equal to, greater than or equal to down here. Okay? Remember, less than looks like an L, right?
Like a shrink.
It's like kind of like an L that is getting old, and it's like, well, anyway. So it's kind of hunched over or something. I don't know. All right, so less than or greater than. Okay? The key to remember is the inequality symbol is always trying to eat the larger number. Okay? So, what kind of dot would I use for this top one over here? This would be a what kind of dot, guys?
Closed. I mean, yeah, closed.
This would be an open dot. This would be a closed dot. Everybody write? I said everybody should be writing this.
Yeah.
I said that. Everybody should be writing this.
Wait, what's closed? That's
Closed
open and that's
is-
closed. Okay.
Less than and greater than is an open dot. A closed dot will always have the or equal to. The one thing that a teacher taught me, they said if you use more ink on your inequality, did I use more ink on this inequality
Yeah.
than that one? If I use more ink there, then I use more ink there. That's one way to kind of remember it, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
If you want. Okay, so I see that my inequality is m greater than 15. Right? Can I eliminate 2 of these answers?
Yes.
Which 2 can I eliminate right now? Lindsay? B and D, because they are closed dots. Right, guys? You see that? They have closed dots. I know that it's not an or equal to inequality. So I get rid of B and D. Very much like an OAA here. 2 questions are ridiculous. 2 questions are very close. Okay, so now I got to figure out where. I know the open dot's going to be right on 15, right, guys? So both A and C both have an open dot on 15. So both those could be right. So what's it saying? It's saying that my solutions, the answers for M, are what? Yeah? They're greater than. So I always say just pick a number. pick a random number. Pick a number that would work here, that makes this true.
16.
16. Where would 16 be shaded? Would 16 be shaded in C or would it be shaded in A? A, right? That's one way to kind of just check. Every time you do these, you should always check. The answer was A. And then you should always say, okay, I see that 20 is shaded, right? So take 20 and plug it in. Is 20 greater than 15? There you go. So that there's really no reason to ever miss these, to be honest. Okay, as far as the shading goes. You should be able to take a number and plug it in. Okay, write an inequality for the situation. There are at least 62 children in the classroom. Let X be the number of children in the classroom. Here's where we start, guys. We start with our variable, and then we put the number that was given. X and 62. Now, since it says at least, I always ask myself, could I have exactly 62 in my classroom?
Yes.
Yes. So that means, is it going to be an or equal to?
Yes.
Yes, it is. So can I eliminate both A and letter C now?
Yeah.
Okay, at least 62 people. Could I have 60 people?
No.
Could I have 63?
Yes.
So we're talking about solutions being greater than or equal to 62, letter D. Okay? Again, make sure you're writing yourself little notes if you're missing them. Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay, this one here, what is the minimum number of triangles? Guys, sure, you could have all drawn, I saw a lot of people like drawing them in here, that's fine. That's perfect if you did that. My thing is, how many sides does this thing have? 7. It has 7 sides. You know what's, I don't like counting sides. I think counting sides is very difficult, don't you guys?
Yeah.
I never know where I started once I got around. It's so, yeah, that's good if you do. Here's the thing. Instead of counting sides, just go ahead and count vertices. Right? 1, 2,
That's even harder.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If there are 7 sides, that means there are 7 vertices, which means there are 7 triangles that could be made. Okay?
Isn't that hard?
Is that a vertice?
Does that not count?
Mr.
Is that a
Garrison,
vertice?
No.
Okay.
Garrison,
All right, yeah.
Unless you
isn't that harder than counting sides?
Whatever you think.
It's
So
more.
everybody's different. So the answer was B.
Makes
Now,
sense.
this one here. Another question that I think many people missed. I had so many questions on this particular question asking me because, again, you're not reading it carefully enough. It says, the length of each side of a regular hexagon is 4.7 inches. And everybody came up to me. I should see eyes up here. Everybody was coming up to me throughout the test and they said, wait a minute. Did you mean for this to be 4.7? I said 4.7 each side, right? I want everybody to write this somewhere. The word regular. Now that could be a regular hexagon, regular pentagon, regular octagon, regular whatever. Regular. What does that mean? Bella?
All sides are equal.
All sides equal. You are doing great today, Bella. Nice job. All sides equal. Write that. Everybody write that. All your sides are equal. That's what a regular... Haley, did you get that? Did you write what I just told you to write?
Well, I just thought that was...
Well, don't worry about those. Mr. Z and I will help you get those. Okay? So, I know that each one of these sides is 4.7 inches. Right, guys? 4.7 inches. 4.7 inches. 4.7 inches. Is this 4 inches right here? Is it actually a side length? No, it's showing this triangle right here. Right there, right? Isn't it, guys? And then it's basically, it's that height right there. Aren't those the same?
Yeah.
From right there to right there? It's just a different way to show the height, isn't it? It's just a different way. It doesn't make a difference. Right? So I know that I got to find the area of that triangle. What's the area formula for a triangle, Jake?
It is... Area equals 1/2 times base times height.
Nice job. Okay, and I know that it's 1/2. I know that my base is 4.7, and I know my height is 4, and I know that I get 9.4 inches squared. And there were many of you that have that answer right there. That you put letter A. That's wrong. It's really half right, really, if you think about it, because you're doing the process right. You're just getting in a hurry and you're not thinking. I always want you guys to, when you get an answer, I would love for you guys to get to the point where you go, does that answer make sense? Some of you don't do that right now, and it kind of comes with just maturing and getting a little bit older. Okay? this right here, 9.4 inches squared, is just the area of this triangle, isn't it, guys? What I have highlighted in red, isn't the area of that 9.4 inches squared? Doesn't that mean in the red area right there, it would have 9.4 1 inch by 1 inch squares that would cover it? That's exactly what it means. But is it asking for the area of one triangle?
No.
No, it's asking for the area of the whole hexagon. So if we found one of those, what do we need to do? We need to multiply it by however many. I know that, basically, let me do it in this color. I know that this is 9.4. I know that this triangle right there is 9.4. I know that this triangle right there is 9.4. I know that that one's 9.4. I know that that one's 9.4 and that one's 9.4. Okay? You could add them all up like that, or you could just do 9.4 times 6. Haley, please. And when you do that, you're going to get 56.4 inches squared. You must have this work. If you don't have this work, it's wrong. Count it wrong. Okay. At the bottom, put what you got out of 6 on that page, please. Okay. Now, yes. What's up? 14. C. Okay, here we go. Find the area of this polygon. Does anybody know what shape this is? I don't know either. Okay, it's a composite figure. It's a figure that just is put, a bunch of polygons are put together and forming something new. It's a composite figure. Okay? Do you guys know the area formula for that composite figure? No, you don't. You don't know the area formula for anything other than parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. That's the only things you know the formula's for. I'm sure there's a formula for every shape out there, but I don't care about it, and you guys don't either. Okay? So, what do we got to do? What shapes could you decompose this thing into? What shapes could it decompose into? Yeah.
It could be a rectangle.
2 rectangles, right?
Yeah.
There are 2 ways you could have done this. I don't know how you did it. It doesn't matter. How many of you cut it like that?
I cut it on the.
How many of you cut it like this? Did you guys do it like this? Does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter how you did it. I will do it both ways real quick. Okay? If I do it like this, I know that this right here is what shape, guys?
That's a square because it's not.
It's a square because it's a 9 foot by 9 foot. A lot of you want to do 9 times 15 to get that. That's not. You want to know just from there to there. So that's going to be 81 feet squared. And then up here is going to be 21 times 6, which is going to give me, anybody got that?
No. Yeah, I did that. It would be 126.
126 feet squared. So then we're going to take it and we're going to add it. 126 plus 81 is going to give me 207 feet squared.
Mr. Garrison, I did something else.
Hold on, I'm gonna go back to that one in a minute. No. Okay, so that's one way to cut it. Did everybody see how I cut it there?
Yes.
Now I'll go back and I'll cut it the other way. I'll cut it this way now. Okay, this way I know that this is going to be a 12 by a 6, which means 72 feet squared. And then this is going to be 9 times 15, which is 135 feet squared. Doesn't matter, when you add 135 and 72, you still get 207 feet squared. It does not matter how you did it. We don't have time. I want to hear it. Nope, we don't have time. Shh. Okay, so the answer was A. All right? All right. Write the inequality shown by the graph. Okay? So, I see that what's the first thing you notice about that graph right there? What's the very, very first thing, Bella?
It's a closed dot, so it could be
It's a closed dot, so it's an or equal to, right, Shreya? Which 2 answers can I eliminate right now? Huh? B and D. Right? Now, what's it showing? Is it showing solutions less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, Kate? So the answer is A. My solutions are less than or equal to 2.5. Alrighty. 17. Here we go. Now I'm going to find the area of this trapezoid. First thing you got to do is what? Write the formula.
Area.
Which is area equals 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2.
What?
If you did not write that, or if you did a different formula, you need to write it now. Guys, the formula is not going to learn itself. Okay? And if you don't know the formula, it's impossible for you to do these. It's just like that. And you can't do it. It's one of these things, either you learned the formula or you didn't. Which means you are going to have to study it if you don't know it. Okay? So here's your formula. Now, I know that my bases are always the parallel sides. Remember, trapezoids only have one pair or one set of parallel sides. Right, guys? Okay. So I know my bases are always those two parallel sides. My height is always the distance between those two parallel bases. So, here we go. 1/2 times 7 times 16 plus 24. It's going to give me 140 meters squared. You must have all of these steps. You must have the formula written. If you didn't write the formula, it's wrong. If you didn't write the formula, it's incorrect.
Garrison, I know what I did wrong on this next question. I put 18 inches instead of 8.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This was the second most missed question on the test, guys. Second most missed question. Your hamster's cage
17.
needs new bedding. One package...
Shh,
We'll do it quieter, please. Your hamster's cage needs new bedding. One package of bedding covers 6 square inches. Whenever you see square inches, what are we talking about?
Area.
Area, right? So we know it's an area question. When you see square inches, square feet, square meters, square miles, doesn't matter. It's area. Now it's all about figuring out what the shape is or whatever. What do you got to do? Okay? So, how many packages of bedding will be needed to cover the entire bottom of the cage? The first step here is to do what, guys? You got to write the formula because you got to find the area of that trapezoid. Obviously, that's a trapezoid, not a parallelogram, because it has only one set of parallel sides. Okay? So, now I'm ready to find the area of this. It's going to be 1/2 times 4 times 8 plus 4, which is going to be 24 inches squared. Now, those of you that have that as an answer, it is wrong. Okay? And here's the reason. The question, it comes back to every test being a reading test. I know I'm repeating myself, Jacob, but I'm just stressing the importance of really slowing down and reading the question. Or asking Mr. Z or me to come over and read it just to make sure you're understanding what it's asking. Okay? So, I know that the area is 24 inches squared. That is the area, right, guys? If you got that answer, make sure you write that that is indeed the area. But the question, let's go up to it. How many packages of bedding will be needed? We want to know how many packages of bedding. Well, if the whole area is 24, and I know that one package covers 6 square inches, you're just going to do 24 divided by 6. You're going to need 4 packages, and that's your answer.
I thought it said that there were already 6 inches filled, so I subtracted it.
It's all right. So, there's your answer. 4 packages, yes.
I put 24 inches squared and then I said, well, you will need 4 packages.
That's fine. That's beautiful. All right, so make sure you have that written. I'll wait a second, let you guys get it written. Okay, you got it? Okay. All right, here we go. These questions, you know there's going to be one of these on the summative. Okay. Here you have your whole backyard. Your whole backyard is shown. It's 75 feet by 120 feet. You have this flower garden right here that I'm going to outline in blue. It's a little parallelogram flower bed. Okay? You want to know what the area of just the grass is. Okay? Which is important if you were planting grass seed and you want to know how much grass seed you needed. On the bag of grass seed it says one bag will cover however many square feet. So it's important that you don't get too much or get too not enough. Okay? That's the whole point of something like this. Real life kind of thing here. So, we have to find the area of the whole backyard, which I know is a rectangle, so that's going to be easy to do. Its area equals base times height, which is going to be 75 times 120, and you're going to get 9,000 feet squared. That's the area of the entire backyard. Does that make sense? But that is not the answer, is it? If there wasn't a flower garden, if this garden wasn't here, would the area of the grass be 9,000?
Yes.
Yes. So now we got to find the area of the flower bed. or flower garden or whatever it is. Okay? It's a parallelogram, so it's going to be the same formula. Okay? It's going to be 12 times 5, which is 60 feet squared. Okay? So now you know that the whole backyard has an area of 9,000 square feet. You know that the flower garden has an area of 60 square feet. You want to find everything else. So in other words, you want to cut this out. What does the word cut mean? What operation are we talking about? Taking it out. Yes. Subtraction. We need to take the whole. Remember, this I showed you a long time ago. Whenever we're doing subtraction, we know the whole, we know a part, we're trying to find the other part. So we know the whole, we know a part, we just want to find what's left over. Right, guys?
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be 9,000 minus 60, which is going to give me 8,940 feet squared.
It's all good.
Oh wait,
Wait, I added.
Yeah, I know, that's wrong.
It's all really
Because
good.
you're saying that the whole yard's there and then you got another little 60 square feet here, Jake, right?
Dang.
It's got to be subtraction. You got to subtract out that part.
You screwed that thing up.
Got 8.
I'm already past
No,
that.
please, I need to see what that thing was. That W thingy.
Whole minus
W
part.
minus, wait.
Yeah, whole minus part.
No,
equals-
oh my god.
whole minus part
minus
equals part.
B.
Equals E.
All right.
Okay, go, go.
Here we go. Here we have a parallelogram. Okay? The area formula, we always write it. If you didn't, it's wrong. It's base times height. The difference here is what? Instead of being given the base and the height,
You have to find out.
we're
what.
being asked to find one or the other, and we're being given the area. That's the difference. The area is 128, and my base is 16, and I don't know my height. You guys see that?
Yep.
And then it's just going back to learning target number 1, solving equations. Okay? Solving equations. Is there any addition or subtraction happening to the variable, guys? Is there?
No.
No. Can you sit down, please? Sit. Is there any multiplication or division?
Yes.
Yes, so we need to undo multiplying by 16 by dividing by 16. I find that h equals 8. So my height here was 8 inches. You must have that work. If you didn't, it's wrong. Absolutely wrong if you didn't have that work, and it will be on the test. I don't care whether you get the right answer or not.
Baby, please.
I'll have to come back to it, Haley.
No, really, I haven't.
I have to come back to it. We're running out of time.
That way.
I'm not being like anyway. I have to come back to it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Shh. Okay. Write an inequality for the situation. More than 31 binders in the tray. So we start with a variable, b, and we have 31. Okay. Now, that's always where we start, with a variable and with the number given. Now, if we're talking about the number of binders I actually have more than 31. Can I have exactly 31? Can I? No, so that would eliminate these two answers, right? That would eliminate those two, right? Because I can't, obviously, if I have more than 31, I can't have exactly 31. So, more than 31 would be greater than 31.
I didn't have that.
Okay?
I didn't have that.
I know, you got a different test. Sorry, you're right. Okay, so that would be that. Now, when you're graphing it, and these are two different points, by the way. Remember, I told you when you graph inequalities, you're going to put the number that's given in the middle. You're going to put 1 below it. You're going to put 1 above it. And then what kind of dot would I use here, Jake?
Open.
Open dot. Now, where would the binders be more than 31? To the right. Just like that.
If you use X,
Just
it's gonna be
X. Doesn't matter what variable you use. That's irrelevant. You could use A, B, C, D. Doesn't matter.
A, B, C.
Okay? Shh. Now, 22. Write the inequality shown by the graph. Again, we start with a variable, and we start with whatever that's at. That's supposed to be a -3. Okay? We always start right there. That's the first part. Right? We know that it's X something, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Shh.
There's an N there.
Okay? -3. We know it's one of those things. Okay? Now, first of all, what's the first thing you notice about this graph right here? What's the first thing you notice? Salutes? It's a closed dot. So can this be less than or greater than? No. So it's one of these two. It's got the or equal to on there. So shading is to the right. So is this saying that the solutions are greater than or equal to -3 or less than or equal to -3? JC?
Greater than.
Greater than or equal to -3. Okay? All right, this was the most missed question on the test. Pay attention, please. This was the one that most people missed. Oops. Okay. Give me a second. I'm going to just bring this down here real quick. Don't mind this. Bring this down. Okay. Now I'm going to do B first and then go back up to A because quite frankly, it's easier to explain it with the picture than it is to explain it in words. But this is what everybody missed. Most of you, what you were doing is you were saying, oh, well, you can decompose a trapezoid into a parallelogram and a triangle. No, that's not right. That's not what I'm asking for. I want to know where the formula area equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2 comes from. Okay? And this is what I'm going to show you. Notice, do I have two congruent rectangles up here, guys? Hello? Yes, I do. I have two congruent rectangles, so everybody should be drawing this because it's going to be on the summative. I promise you guys, this question right here will be on the summative. Guaranteed. I would have called this base 1. I would have called this base 2. So then flipped upside down, that would be base 1 and base 2, right, guys? My height would be here. My height would be here. And basically, what I'm trying to get you guys to see is that when you make a congruent trapezoid and you flip it over top, what shape is created? A parallelogram is created. A parallelogram gets created. We know the area formula for a parallelogram would be area equals base times height. Right, guys? Okay. So, we know the height, right? So I'm going to write this formula up here for a minute.
Is this still part of the problem?
Yeah.
Like, is this exactly what
This is exactly what you would have to have for the drawing right here. This is what you would have to have. If you don't have it, it's wrong. And no, I don't think anybody in here except for Vignesh and Dominic had it. Okay? This is the drawing. It's taking two trapezoids, and you flip one of them, and you put them together. You form a parallelogram. Okay? Now, this is where the formula comes from. Let's look at all the parts. This right here, base 1 plus base 2, isn't that just making up the base of this formula right here? And the height, is that still the height? Is the height of the trapezoid the same as the height of the parallelogram? Yes? And then why do we do 1/2 of it?
Because you split it in half.
Exactly. So basically, this is the drawing that you would have saw, or you should have done. Everybody should take a mental snapshot. Okay? This is what I would expect to see. Now, as far as your explanation, I would want to see something like this. The formula for a trapezoid is
Formula for the trapezoid.
for a trapezoid. Not is. Sorry, nobody wrote
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. What? Wait, we should have wrote a sentence. Yeah, just listen.
Read the directions.
I didn't read the directions.
Okay, the formula for a trapezoid comes from the formula. I'm trying. From my thing's bouncing around for some. Oh gosh.
Oh my.
How the? Why
Okay. Comes from the formula from the parallelogram.
What? Writing.
Oh, it says explain. It basically, what I want you to say, the main part of this, that first sentence, you could have written it, that's fine. That's really where it's come. That's what I want you to see. But really, what I want you to say is that two equal trapezoids make a parallelogram. Just like that. That is, I think I spelled that wrong, but that is what my expectation is going to be. Or you could say a trapezoid is half of a parallelogram or something like that. That's what I'm really looking for. Now, like I said, it's a lot easier to explain it with a picture than it is in words. I'm going to be honest. So that is that. Okay?